If you're new to Pilates or you want a refresher on the do's and don'ts when you're doing Pilates, you've come to the right place. That's what this video is all about. Hello, I'm Lesley Logan. I've been teaching for over 15 years. I have taught hundreds of Pilates instructors around the world and thousands of students, and I'm here to share with you the do's and don'ts about how to have proper form and great transitions while you're doing Pilates. As a second generation Pilates instructor, which just means my teacher was taught by Joseph Pilates, I have witnessed tons of people being able to learn this method as a way of their own practice. And that's a goal I have for everybody who watches our videos here or takes from OPC. It's important that this practice becomes your own. And when you know the do's and don'ts, you're going to be able to take a class and have the independence and autonomy to make sure that you're doing the right exercises for your body.
Welcome to OnlinePilatesClasses.com, the most supportive Pilates-loving community across the globe. Enjoy new weekly classes from our amazing teachers. Download the OnlinePilatesClasses.com app today.
All right, do focus on your form and your posture. Don't just focus on the choreography. Let me explain what that means. So when you are doing Pilates, it's very easy and tempting to just focus on the choreography, what's going where. And when you're new, you actually do have to learn the exercise. So that's fine. However, if you are just going through the motions, it's going to feel really easy. And the big joke about Pilates, if it feels easy, you're probably doing it wrong, even if you are doing the choreography correctly. So you want to be focusing on the connections you're making, where you're putting the bones in place, and working from that proper posture and form. And if you're not sure, you want to ask the teacher you're working with. If you're an OPC member, you can actually show us your form and we'll give you some feedback on it. But you want to focus on that posture and that form, because that's when you are working from the correct places, which is your center, and not the fingers and the toes and the locked knees and the lower back. So let's actually talk about what are some things that go wrong in your posture and in your form when you're doing Pilates. What I see a lot of times is kind of throwing ourselves into a movement or hanging out in our lower back. I'll show what those are as an example. And also kind of moving through the movements too quickly from your locked elbows or locked joints. So let's talk about that. Throwing yourself in and out of an exercise can look a lot like, ugh, and like down. And I know this sounds really dramatic, but I see this in classes all the time. And yes, that is sort of the crisscross. I asked you to bring your opposite elbow to your knee, but you want to be doing it from the center. So we're not dropping out and coming up and throwing ourselves into it. We're just staying in the movement. And if you need a break, you can take the break by lowering yourself down with control as opposed to falling down. The arch of the lower back, here's the deal. You do have a natural curve. I do want you to keep that in your life. But if when you're doing your exercises, you lower the legs, the back arches, you lift the legs and it comes up, you're actually moving your legs from your back, not from your center. So you want to feel like you have the longest spine in every exercise, and that what is ever happening in your legs or in your arms isn't disrupting your center. Because if it is, that's a sign that we're going for the choreography, like what's moving where versus moving from correct posture and form. Your arms and your legs should move from your center first. And so one of the telltale signs you're not focusing on posture and form is if your pelvis is tipping forward and back in the exercises, or your shoulders are coming up and down in your ears, or you drop down and you hurl yourself back up. Yes, it's challenging, but if you need a break, take the break. Another way to focus on your posture and your form is actually in the transition of an exercise. And that is where we can actually get even more out of the exercise we're doing, or we can get a lot less. So let's talk about some of those transitions. In the mat, for example, there are some amazing transitions you can do between exercise, which actually makes the mat more possible. One of those is between rolling like a ball and your abdominal series, single leg pull or single leg stretch, you can actually transition from the rolling like a ball shape and you can come into the exercise. And I actually pulled myself into this shape so I can do the exercise. I can actually transition to the next exercise, one into the next, without stopping. That would be more advanced, but also by bringing the connections that I just made into an exercise, and then I can come all the way up and round forward into my spine stretch forward. So knowing the transitions really will help take your practice to the next level. It also is going to keep you connected to your muscles, so you're less likely to get into that choreography piece or into a place where you could actually injure yourself. If you're wanting a whole video on transitions, let me know in the comments below because we'll make one for you. If you're still unsure if you've got your form down correctly, you can actually ask for my help. In fact, at OPC, all of our members get access to feedback on their form, either by submitting a video of them doing an exercise or coming to the live class we host every single month. We work out together and we hang out for a Q&A where I can actually see them move, provide feedback, and help them connect to their next level. Don't forget to breathe. Oh my goodness, this is something I see people do in Pilates often, even people who consider themselves advanced practitioners. They hold their breath. While there are some exercises where there is some directions around when to breathe and when to hold the breath, most Pilates exercises, you're supposed to breathe the whole time. In and out through your nose. In fact, if you're wondering the best way to breathe and still keep connections to your abdominals, you'll want to check out my video on how to breathe when you're doing Pilates. It's actually really informative, super helpful, because how we breathe in Pilates is very different than how we breathe in life, and can keep you, if you're breathing the same way you do in life, can keep you from the connections and really being able to take one exercise into the next one without kind of holding your breath or feeling like you need to hold your breath because you're losing access to your abdominals. So check that video out and then make sure you're breathing when you're doing Pilates. Do challenge yourself. All right, this is really important. I know sometimes we get a little nervous, like maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I got to perfect it better before I go to the next level. But the truth is that taking yourself outside of your comfort zone to challenge yourself in exercise can really reveal where you're really rocking it in your practice. So you can challenge yourself by transitioning from one exercise into the next without stopping. You can also challenge yourself by asking your teacher, like, what are some ways I can scale this exercise up? You can also use some props to find deeper connections, like a magic circle or a TheraBand or some light weights. So it's really, really fun to take some time on those days you're feeling up for it to challenge yourself. Don't forget to listen to your body though. So here's the deal. I hear too often that I gotta find a burn, I gotta get the sweat on. Here is the deal. Some days you're gonna be up for that challenge, and some days you're gonna be like, ooh, feel a little tight here, feel a little loose here. What I love about people who are actually using Pilates as a practice is they listen to their body. At OPC, we actually believe it's brave and courageous to replace exercises you can't do yet with ones you can do. And sometimes there are days when you know you could do that exercise, but today isn't the day. When you listen to your body, you're able to actually challenge yourself on the days that are great for that and take yourself down to another level on the days you need that. So that might be asking for some modifications or using props to support your practice, or maybe taking things a little bit slower or only doing a few minutes of the practice. All of that is a-okay because you're listening to your body. While listening to your body, it's important to notice the difference between something that is difficult or painful. And this is something I'm going to share my own personal story for. I had broken my tibial plateau back in 2013, and when I was re-engaging with movement, my trainer was giving me things and I'd go, oh, I can't do that, it hurts. I can't do that, it hurts. And he finally asked me, is it hard or does it actually hurt like pain? And that was very interesting for me because I was attributing hard and pain as the same thing. So please know, when you're working out, the goal is to actually challenge yourself to create more strength in your body and take your body to another level so you can do your life better. However, please pay attention to when it's an actual pain, like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, or it's just really hard. If it's just really hard, keep going. If there's a pain, let your teacher know. If you're an OPC member, let us know so we can give you the proper modifications so we can strengthen your body so we can either add that exercise back in down the road or keep it out forever. And finally, there's no shame in being in practice, being in the process, listening to your body and taking it slow on the days you need to. Remember, we believe it's brave and courageous to replace an exercise you can't do with one you can do yet. And so if you don't have a replacement exercise, let us know so we can give that to you. At OPC, all of our classes are designed to be all levels. Here on this channel, I've linked for you a beginner mat and a beginner reformer class that you can take right now. And over on the online PilatesClasses.com app, we actually have a whole beginner mat series that's free for you to take. Don't rush. I feel like a parent saying, don't run in the house. But the reality is I want you to find a flow in your practice. And when you're newer, it's going to feel like you're going to be slower at things. And when you're more advanced, you will bring some zest to those exercises. But there is a difference between going too slow, that's actually going to challenge you in a way that's not ideal, or rushing the exercise. I see this in classes a lot. I'll say, okay, do 5 of these, and people are just zipping through. That actually leads you to the choreography versus the quality of the movement. So focus on the quality of the exercise you're doing. Keep a pace that allows you to work your whole body in every exercise, and have fun with it. Do show up and enjoy the process. Here's the thing. It's important that you celebrate that you got there, that you did any amount of minutes of Pilates that you did. Notice the aha moments you're having and celebrate those. Find ways to go, oh my God, I had a strength or connection that I didn't have before, and really truly high five yourself. And be curious around the exercises you're struggling with rather than shame or judge yourself. Don't forget you're a badass. Here is the deal. This is going to be a practice for your life, which is really important. Sometimes we think, okay, I've been doing it for 10 sessions, Lesley, I'm not getting it. You've been doing it for 10 sessions, and that's really awesome. Every time you show up for your Pilates practice is like a set at the gym, okay? It's compounding, and every time you come and do it, you're giving yourself another set, another rep in those exercises, and over time, you're gonna see amazing results, all right? So you wanna give yourself time to get those results, and part of that is going to be showing up consistently. And I know some of you are all or nothing kind of people, but that actually doesn't work. It's really, really important to me that you show up and do what you can, when you can, and celebrate that you did it. And that's where we at OPC come into play. We help hold you accountable and we cheer you on, because even if you can only do 5 minutes a day, I'd rather do that than one day where you do 15 or 20 or forget because you got really busy and you missed a whole week. Give yourself time to be in the practice, be in the process, and celebrate that you showed up and did it. And lastly, do practice Pilates with OPC. Over at onlinepilatesclasses.com, we truly value you coming as you are. We've got a great community that helps support you and help you show up for yourself even when you're feeling like you don't want to or you can't make the time. We have a way to help you connect to yourself first. You can connect more to others. And we help you be consistent, which is the most important thing to gain the results you want to get. Over at OPC, we also have amazing instructors from all different backgrounds, different ages, different body types, and we love to cheer you on. All of our teachers are fully certified. That means they've done a comprehensive training. They know how to make modifications for where you are in your practice and also how to take you to the next level. And because you're here on YouTube, you can actually give us a trial out by going to onlinepilatesclasses.com/YouTube. Check us out and see if OPC is exactly where you should be playing with your Pilates practice. Thank you so much for letting me share these do's and don'ts with you. If you have any questions about anything about Pilates, you can put it in the comments below. I answer your questions Sundays at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I hope you show up for that live. Make sure you've subscribed to this channel and have an amazing day.